My guest this week is Mike Paul Hughes, who spends his day as a NASA aerospace engineer working on some of the most advanced space projects the world has ever seen. After work, though, he becomes a bassist, producer, and even a composer for a number of Bollywood films. He also has one of the most inspirational stories of overcoming tremendous obstacles to reach a dream goal that I've ever heard. In the interview, Mike tells us that story, but also describes his Bollywood work and a number of things that people aren't aware of when it comes to space travel and even landing a human on Mars. We spoke via Skype from a studio just outside of Los Angeles. You have one of the best backstories of anybody I know, and I use your example often to inspire people because it is an inspirational story. So could you firsthand tell us what happened?
Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for the lead, and I appreciate that very much. You're remembering that. So, in the fall of 1985, my life kind of fell apart. I was in a band. I was playing bass in a rock band in Philadelphia, and I had a job and a girlfriend, and it all kind of fell apart. I got fired from my job, my band broke up, my girlfriend dumped me, and my car died, all in the period of a couple of weeks, and kind of put me into a depression. And just before the holidays of 1985, I got another job in a print shop, but I kind of hated it. And then a month later, the Challenger exploded and shocked me out of that life. And I decided to become an aerospace engineer. So I put down the drugs, the alcohol, the bass guitar, the party life, and went after aerospace engineering and overcame pretty significant academic odds. I wasn't in a very good position to excel academically because my high school grades had not been that good and my SAT scores were not that good. And the counselor noted it and said that I had a less than a 1% chance of graduating with honors in that high Dean's List category. And well, to make a long story short, that's what I went and did. So it's been an interesting ride since then. I've been working on NASA science missions ever since for 27 years now. And I'm playing music again. So I guess I got it all.
Well, I want to get to the music in a big way in a second, but let's just talk about your position at NASA. What exactly are you doing now?
Well, I'm working on a couple of projects. I'm a systems engineer, and systems engineering is a lot of bringing people together. It's identifying a problem that's cross-cutting and bringing the people into the room to solve that problem. And I'm working on multiple projects doing this type of role. The Europa Clipper project, which is going to send a spacecraft to do fast flybys of the second moon of Jupiter, which is believed to have a liquid water ocean beneath the ice. So that's the moon Europa, and that mission's going to launch in 21. And then I'm also working formulation, which is a mission that's far off, 10 years. Potentially, it's a proposal, and that's called Project Starshade. And the idea there is it's an astrophysics mission. It's looking for exoplanets, and the idea is to place a spacecraft in front of a star that you believe has exoplanets, and then use a space telescope, much more powerful than Hubble, to image that star. But you block the starlight, so now you can see the light from the planets. And that's a way of direct imaging the planets, actually picking up photons from the planets. So that one, and then I'm working on another one, which is a collaboration with the Indian Space Agency, which is a Earth science mission to fly a very large synthetic aperture radar to look for subtle changes in the Earth's crust, say for an earthquake or landslides, these kind of things. It can measure very small changes, including, climate change. When the ice sheets melt, this NISAR mission will be able to measure that too. So I'm spread out right now.
Going back a little bit, how does one get a gig at NASA?
Well, it's just like any other large corporation in one way, in that it has a website, a careers website, and you go in and you apply, and you put up your resume, and there's various positions that you can apply for, and they have qualifications that are expected, and that's where the challenge comes in, because the qualifications can be, multiple years with a master's degree in engineering. So I guess the probably if somebody out there is listening and wants to get a gig at NASA, the best way to do it is to get a degree of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, or aerospace engineering. And if you do that, then you'll be in demand in a lot of places besides NASA.
But for you, it was always NASA, though. You always, because of Challenger, you had an affinity for space and everything to do with aerospace, right?
Yeah, well, I was a kid of Star Trek. I grew up in the 70s when the Star Trek reruns were on, so I was inspired, by the culture. But I was on a path to really be working in a print shop for maybe the next 20 years if it weren't for the Challenger that set me on a different course. And it just came at a point in my life where I needed an outside influence to kind of shock me to that. And I guess it was just a big enough dream that I went all in. So yeah, when I went in, I didn't show up and say, what's going to be my major? Maybe I'll check out, electrical engineering, or maybe I'll do, arts and sciences, some humanities or something. No, I was aerospace from day one, and I had to plow through a lot of obstacles to realize that.
You were noted for your participation and leadership in Deep Impact. And I just find that amazing that you could aim a spacecraft at a comet and actually hit it, which is pretty amazing. How long did that take?
Deep Impact?
Yeah.
The mission?
Yeah.
It started as an idea in the late 90s, right around the time the movie Deep Impact was being made, 10 miles away in Hollywood. And I've asked the question throughout NASA, was this influenced by Deep Impact the movie? And I could never find a connection. It seems to be that that phrase was used in two different places, and we made a mission out of it, and they made a movie out of it. But it was in the late 90s that it was proposed. But we really didn't hit what we call flight project status when you hit phase A.